order, Mr.
Point of
Speaker.
order, the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
I seek leave to hold this question over until the Minister of Energy and Resources is present and able to respond.
Leave is sought for that course of action. Is there any objection? There is objection. The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta. Order. 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 The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
My question is to the Minister of Energy and Resources. What action other than persuasion will he take if Contact Energy's proposal to raise prices by 10 to 17% in Dunedin, as referred to by the Prime Minister on Monday, is followed by similar rises from other power companies?
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, the Government is closely monitoring power price rises. We note that Meridian, Genesis and Trustpower have signalled no immediate price increase for consumers, and they collectively amount to over 50% of the market share. Contact, which is 25% market share, has announced increases of 3.2%. Mercury, which is 23% market share, 3.3%. The Commerce Commission has put power companies on notice of the risk of prosecution if they misrepresent the price impact of the ETS, and the Government welcomes the firm approach.
The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
How can consumers be confident that its persuasive powers will keep power prices down, given that Genesis, Contact and Trustpower all hiked prices by between 5 and 8.4% shortly after his warning last year to the electricity industry that it could not continue making large price increases?
Mr.
Honourable
Speaker,
Dr Nick Smith.
on behalf of the Minister, the key work that the Government is doing to constrain power prices is to increase the competitive pressure on them. And I think the huge increase in the amount of switching that companies make. To hear Mr Mallard interjecting when power prices went up by 72% when he was a minister shows the intellectual hypocrisy on the Government benches.
Chris Arkenfall.
A supplementary to the Minister. What advice has the Minister received regarding power price rises since 2000, and in particular, what impact would the ETS have had on power prices had it not been moderated?
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I am advised that power prices rose by 72%. 72% when the member was a minister, and furthermore, it would have increased by 10% this year under the emissions trading scheme that she voted for. Thankfully, there was a change of government, and the impact of the ETS has been more than halved on consumers.
The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Does the Minister stand by his suggestion that Kiwis struggling to pay higher power bills should shop around? If so, where does he suggest they shop to avoid the 2.5% increase in power prices due to the pending GST rise?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I would draw consumers' attention to the power companies that have announced no increase in their power prices. And for instance, in Dunedin, well, Annette King interjects. Let me just remind Annette King again, she was absolutely silent during the 9 years that she was a minister when power price increases went up by 72%.
Point of order, Nanaia Mahuta.
Point of order, Mr Speaker. I did let it pass on my first supplementary. However, this question was very specific and the Minister's failing to answer it.
Well, I think in fairness, when members interject, ministers are at liberty to pick up on those interjections, and because otherwise, as Speaker, I'd be all the time getting for feet and stopping people interjecting. I don't do that. I want the House bell to live. And so, but that's the risk members run. They interject. A minister may pick up on that, and that's perfectly okay. Does the member have any further supplementary question? The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Supplementary. Can the Minister confirm that
Order. I can't hear. Order, please show some courtesy to the member asking the question. The Honourable Nanaia
Supplementary.
Mahuta.
Can the Minister confirm that residential power prices have increased since 2008 and that there remains a disparity between residential and business price increases? If so, what steps will he be taking to control residential power prices?
The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, I would note that the increases over the last 18 months, I understand, are about 5%. That is significantly less than what they were in the preceding 8 years. But the Minister is determined to make further steps. That is why there's an important bill before this Parliament to make significant changes to the sector and maximise those competitive pressures, and particularly make it easier for consumers to be able to change power companies. The advice I would have, for instance, to the consumers in Dunedin who are with Contact is that they should look at the options to switch to one of those companies that have not put their prices up.
Question number 10, Michael Woodhouse.